Raising puppies is not for the faint of heart. Service dog training a puppy is really not for the faint of heart. It is hard work, but I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna succeed. I'm gonna own or train this service dog to be the best service dog I can make her. And if I fail, I will still have a wonderful, loving companion, and it'll be a wild and crazy ride. All right, my busy peeps, let's talk about training a puppy to be a service dog. Oy vey, I'm tired. So, Clover is 12 weeks old right now, and she's learned a lot. We've been working on her wearing her service dog and training vest. We've been working on holding downs, holding places, holding sits, coming between my legs to help me balance, which, let me clarify, when I have her go between my legs to work on that, she will not have any of my weight to help her balance until she has been cleared by a vet and is the appropriate age, which will probably be over 2 years old because she will be growing. So hear me when I say we are rehearsing this. I want her to be comfortable with this, but I'm not actually expecting her to help me balance until she's been cleared by our vet. When I took her to the vet, I mentioned that she was going to be my personal service dog, and I was training her for that. So he didn't have any issues with that, which is, if you have a service dog in training, you need to clear it with your vet. I'm reading this book right here. I got it from our local library, but I will link it below so that you can find it. Maybe it's at your library, or maybe you just need to pick it up on Amazon and you want your own copy. This is great because it talks about, in the United States, the legalities. It's broken down very simply. It talks about so many things like how to pick a service dog. It's an amazing book. It does have a training section, which I am reading and I'm finding very kind of helpful because I know a lot of these things about dog training, but it's kind of help reinstilling them. But I don't know that I would use them for actually training. Videos are much more helpful, and there are videos for those same type of tasks. But the breakdown of what a therapy dog is, what an emotional support dog is, what a service dog is, what is expected of a service dog, what is expected of you with your service dog, that's broken down in this book, and what your rights are, and how to care for your service dog, how to pick a service, like all that is in this book. So I highly recommend it. It's a very, very easy read. I'm enjoying it. It's a great book. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the book stressed that you need to clear with your vet with your dog. And so Clover will be cleared, you know, before we do anything. Is it a substitute for a dog trainer? No, I still recommend checking out Laura at Doggy U. She's releasing her own service dog training course soon. She has other resources for training service dogs, like her whole YouTube channel is devoted to service dogs. She is a service dog handler herself. Her dad uses a guide dog, and she used to place service dogs. That was what she did. She's a trick trainer, all these things. So she is a great wealth of information on service dog training, which she didn't get into service dog training for her or her dad. That just kind of happened, and she's lived the life too. So we've been doing a lot of exposure training with her. So she's been exposed to multiple different types of surfaces, tile, different types of tile, sidewalk, concrete, different types of concrete, laminate, hardwood, grass, gravel, rocks, leaves. So she's been exposed to all these different things. She's been exposed to umbrellas, to my son wearing a bunch of hats and dancing around crazy. She's been exposed to cats. She's been exposed to geese. She's been exposed to other dogs barking in the background. Short and sweet is the key, and positive. Always end on the win. So what I did for her for public exposure is I had my husband put the crate in the car, loaded her up, took her to my grocery store. It has a portion of the parking lot that is not busy. It's hardly ever busy, but it does have a little bit of traffic from cars going past. And basically I just opened up the tailgate of my van, had her in the crate, and just as she was sitting there calmly, I just yes and rewarded her as she saw people walking in the parking lot, cars driving by, and there were weird noises. And it was just I think the whole trip was 10 minutes. It was literally just a few minutes of, okay, this is a good thing. So that starts the exposure training. As she gets better, being calm and has a little bit of leash manners. She's too young to go out. She's still not fully vaccinated and all these things. So she's not going into stores yet. She's not walking on a proper leash yet. If I do take her to a store where she doesn't need a leash, it'll be a hardware store that allows pets, and I'll put her in a buggy or a shopping cart. I'm from the South, we call it a buggy. What do you call it where you live? Trolley? Cart? I don't know. She is super resilient, which is very important with a service dog. I can't stress this enough. Resiliency is so important. Our dog Hannah is not super resilient. I am going to be doing a video in the future of why I chose to get a new dog to be a service dog versus using the dogs that we already had as a service dog, because this is a very important discussion to have. No matter their breed, not every dog is suited to be a service dog, and there's lots that goes into picking a service dog. But resiliency is super important. Clover has resiliency, and she has it in spades. She is not phased. And what I mean by this is yesterday, so you know, I'm a big proponent of having a house line or a leash, nylon lightweight leash on your puppy until they're fully trained, or mostly fully trained. It helps if they go under the furniture with something they shouldn't, you can pull on the leash versus scaring the puppy. If they start running off with something, you can step on the leash and stop them. You can use it to help prevent them from jumping off, which this girl is very clever, and she has figured out how to finagle the leash away from my feet in such a way that I can't step on it to stop her from jumping, or if I do step on it, she's figured out how to, I gotta email the instructors at Can Dogs about this, because she is something. So, but back to the resiliency thing. Yesterday, I was working with her on being in the kitchen. She's trying to counter serve, which is when the dog jumps and gets food off the counter. We're not allowing that. She's too short right now to get anything from the counter, but that will not last long. So I was doing an exercise where I am teaching her that if she behaves, she doesn't jump up. This is very important. If she jumps up to try to get the food, I had a bowl of kibble on the counter. If she tries to jump up and get the food and then I tell her off and then she has all 4 feet on the floor, I yes, but I do not reward her for that because she jumped. And most dogs can sequence events, which is kind of the whole point of service dog training, is you have to use training sequences. I don't want her to learn, I jump up on the counter, mom tells me off, I get a cookie. Like, I don't want that sequence of events. So basically, I praise her for having her feet back on the floor, or I say yes for having her feet on the floor so she knows she's right for having all 4 feet on the floor. And then I have her do something else, whether it's a touch, sit, down, spin, come to heel, go between my legs, or I call it help me balance. Whatever of those I choose something else for her to do. And when she's completed that task, I yes, or clicker. I have started clicker training her because the clicker is a little bit more precise. It pierces the dog's brain better. So if I'm out in public or doing a harder task, it's easier to use the clicker, but I use yes and clicker as the same thing. So I would yes, mark the good behavior, the task that I wanted her to do, and then she got the food from there so that she learns, oh, behaving is what I want. I also rewarded her for offering good behavior. So if she went and sat on the rug, or if she went and laid down, or if she was sat down, if she sat away from the counter on her own accord and just looked at the food but looked at me, I would yes, and I would give her food because I want her to learn self-control. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm approaching this wrong. This is what I'm doing. I want her to learn that self-control is what gets you the food. Being a wild and crazy woman and jumping on the counters does not get you the food. So as I was doing this, I actually was filming. She took off to the other room and I was too far away to step on the house line, and she got away from me. And I went to call her back, and I actually turned off the camera at this point, right before her house line got stuck in between the handle and the base of this wood holder. It's for firewood. It's this firewood holder. She got stuck. She got it stuck between there. So when I called her back, it started dragging. And when it started dragging, it scared the living daylights out of her. And she ran full tilt boogie to me. And you know what she did? She dragged that thing into my feet. So my feet are bruised. I have 3 bruised toes. And like she dragged that, and I had to grab that in pain, excruciating. I can barely stand. I'm having to not yell and stay calm because I need to not make her more freaked out. She's already freaked out. I cannot encourage her to be freaked out. She needs to know weird and freaky stuff happens. It's okay, mom's got it. So I'm like trying to get my 11-year-old who was up at the time, because everybody else was still asleep pretty much. So he's helping me. It's just a mess. I had sat down. I was like, go get your dad, because I couldn't walk at that point. Like, I was in pain. Like, I could not stand. I had to sit down. My son removed the thing, and Clover was okay. She was not freaked. She wasn't cowering. She was fine. This metal thing came dragging behind her, and she was okay. Yeah, she freaked out like a crazy woman. I mean, I would freak out too. She was screaming like she was hurt. She wasn't hurt, fortunately. She is perfectly fine. But that's the resiliency. The resiliency is the weird and freaky stuff happens and she's okay. Even though it freaked her out, she's okay. She went back and checked it out later that day. We have since removed it from the house. So that's the thing about the house line is don't let your puppy get away from you, because if they do, they can get stuck on something like that. So that was my mistake. I should have been closer. I should not have recalled her in that moment. If there is a chance that your puppy's house line is gonna get stuck on something, do not recall them. Just don't. Go to them and get them, okay? So that was my mistake, not hers. And yes, the house line used wrong can be very dangerous. My toes feel it, but it's okay. Yes, I use the house line like based on professional dog trainers, like their advice too. There's a British guy that talks about it. He uses a big long line sometimes in the house. So this is not just big hand dogs, but the leash on the dog. So yesterday morning, before all this happened, so my feet were already hurting before this incident. I took her out and I couldn't find the house line. She has a leather leash. As I'm coming in, I realize there's something on my foot. Look down, something, I pull it off. It's an ant. I got bit by a fire ant, which, oh my God, and it bit me twice. So that hurt. And then, so I'm looking for stuff to deal with the fire ant burning, and I don't have her house line. So I'm looking for both things at the same time. So as I'm looking, she runs between my legs, and that leather leashes are not house lines, people. Nylon, lightweight, thin little ropes. Those are good for house lines, but not your leather leashes. It whipped back and forth and whipped around my foot and hit my foot. And so I have a bruise on the outside of my other foot. So both feet were hurting already prior to this. So yeah, and then my toddler and I got into a fight over a stool. He wanted to use a stool to climb, and so I was trying to take it away from me, and he dropped it on my foot. So both feet are injured, or to the max. What was I saying? Oh yes, training her has been, it's been a thing. And because also one of the things I'm really having to pay attention to is because she is a herding breed. All dogs will learn how to control their owners, all of them. This is universal to every dog. However, when you get into any type of herding breed, German Shepherd, Border Collie, Australian Shepherd, Australian Cattle Dog, Corgi, Shetland Sheepdog, any of the herding breeds, they are bred to control other animals. If you let them, they will try to control you. So one of the things I really have to do is, and it's subtle things. It's you get me food when I want you to get me food. You get water when I do this. They'll want to start and end playtime. Don't do it. You start playtime. You end playtime. And this is per professional dog trainers. I'm not one, but this is based on what I'm learning from other dog trainers. Don't be mean about it. You don't have to be mean about it. You don't have to be in the dog's face mean. It's just a matter of fact. I'm tons of fun, but I'm tons of fun on my terms, not your terms. Does that make sense? It's like, make it fun. I get you food when I'm ready to get you food. I take you out when I'm ready to take you out. When I say take you out, I'm not talking about like if they need to go to the bathroom, that's different. I'm talking about like going outside to play or going out for a walk. Like that is your job, the owner, the parent, the pet parent. That's for you. to decide. Yeah, dealing with like little subtle things like control barks, demand barking, demanding water, demanding, like I'm having to teach her, no, you don't get to demand these things. I do. But at the same time, I'm rewarding her for like, oh, she's amazing. I love that she started doing this because I've started rewarding her for certain places, being in certain places, like being on her bed or being in front of the rug in the kitchen. So she started to, when we go into those rooms, she will run and jump on her bed, or she'll run and go sit on the rug in the kitchen. So she's already learning, oh, mom really likes those things. And when she offers those, I have treats and I say yes, and I give them to her, and she is rewarded. The value of that means that soon, hopefully, she won't have to be in her crate as much, and I can let her out and hang out with me, which will be super stellar. So, and for service dogs need to know how to hang out in places. So I bought a tether that's designed for tether training. This book recommends tether training. I got a portable dog bed, which I didn't bring in here with me. I will link that below, but it's just super cute. I got her a pink one. They didn't have purple, but they had a pink one that folds up and has straps and snaps together and has pockets. So it's very nice. It feels like those puffy coats, and it has cute little handles, like I said. So basically, I can take this out and I can teach her where to lay down, and she can be, the place training is, this is a safe place. You hang out here and everything is okay. When you're laying on this, you chew a bone and everything's good and it's okay, and you can hang out here. And so basically I got her, we used it this morning. So while I'm drinking my coffee, reading my book, she's hanging out, chewing her bone on her place. The point is for her to learn, this is a happy place, this is a safe place. So if I take her with me to a restaurant, I can teach her to lay down in a place and it'd be okay. I can teach her, hey, if we go visit my grandmother, you can go lay down on your place and be good. I don't know that I'll ever take her to see my grandmother, but if I do, if we go somewhere, she will know, okay, this environment may be wild and crazy, but I know when I see this place and mom tells me to go lay down on this place, everything is hunky-dory and I know exactly what to do, and that is to lay here and be chill. This is what we're working on with her. I've also been working on touches, which is very important because her ability to touch things will lead to so many other tasks with service dogs. But at the same time, we're having fun. Like everything needs to revolve on her having fun and being a puppy, but not being a wild and crazy puppy. So we're really instilling manners with her. That's where that's at. So again, puppy training, raising puppies is not for the faint of heart, and service dog training a puppy is really not for the faint of heart. It is hard work, but I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna succeed. I'm not a professional dog trainer. I'm gonna owner train this service dog to be the best service dog I can make her. And if I fail, I will still have a wonderful, loving companion, and it'll be a wild and crazy ride, but it's okay. We got this.